Angola's Supreme Court ordered on Tuesday the preventive seizure of assets of Isabel dos Santos, daughter of former President Eduardo dos Santos, deceased last year. This is the second seizure of Isabel dos Santos' assets in Angola since 2019. The court order covers 100% of the shares of the company Embalvidro, of which the defendant is the beneficial owner, as well as the balances of all bank accounts owned or co-owned by the daughter of the former Angolan president. Also included are Isabel dos Santos' shares in mobile networks in Mozambique, Cape Verde and São Tomé e Príncipe. According to Angola's Supreme Court, the businesswoman damaged the Angolan state in over 1 billion euros in other criminal cases with evidence of embezzlement, influence peddling, economic participation in companies and money laundering. The decision by the Angolan Supreme Court was based on documents from state oil company Sonangol and mobile phone company Unitel, as well as information provided by Portuguese and Dutch authorities.
Ethiopia's national carrier, Ethiopian Airlines, said it will resume commercial flights to the war-torn region of Tigray on Wednesday, after a shutdown lasting 18 months. The announcement comes a day after an Ethiopian delegation made the first high-level government visit to the rebel-held region since the signing of a peace deal last month. The airline, the biggest carrier in Africa, said on Tuesday that it will operate daily flights from the national capital Addis Ababa to the Tigrayan capital of Mekele. The schedule will increase in frequency depending on demand, it said in a statement. Aid has started trickling back into Tigray since the peace deal was signed on November 2, going some way to alleviating chronic shortages of food, fuel, cash and drugs. But the region of 6 million is still largely without electricity and phone lines, while internet and banking services have only partly been restored. The war began in November 2020 when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed sent in troops after accusing the Tigray People's Liberation Front of attacking army bases. After an impeccable World Cup performance, Moroccan players Sofiane Boufal and Azzedine Ounahi are still reluctant to return to their respective football clubs. Sofiane Boufal's side Angers FC sit at the bottom of League One table and are in need of the winger despite his absence. Boufal has not yet mentioned his return date and is considered still in vacation amid rumors he might seek a deal out of his club. Meanwhile, Ounahi, who has impressed many clubs, is still undecided about his future. His impeccable performance, especially in the midfield, has attracted the interest of many clubs like Napoli. Angers' president has revealed that League One side has already received offers from big clubs. Speaking to journalists, Ounahi revealed that he will make his final decision once he gets back to his club. After becoming the first African team to reach the World Cup semi-final, Morocco's tournament ended in 2 losses. But then the team's achievement in Qatar will be remembered for the outpouring of pride among Arab nations. The Tunisian government on Monday unveiled a new budget, aiming to use new tax revenues to claw the deficit back to near 5% of GDP as the cash-strapped country awaits an international bailout. The 2023 budget comes as the North African country grapples with eye-watering public debt, shortages of goods from sugar to petrol and inflation at nearly 10%. On this basis, and taking into account the repayment of the principal, loans and advances, the amount of the budget for the year 2023 will be approximately $22.4 billion compared to approximately $19.5 billion for the amending finance law for the year 2022. The Economy Minister Samir Said has predicted 2023 will be a very difficult year and that inflation will hit 10.5%. As for inflation, it unfortunately remains high. The expected rate for the year 2022 is 8.3% and the expected rate for the year 2023 is 10.5%. The state, saddled with a crippling public wage bill and a political sensitive subsidies, is set to take in around $14.8 billion. It will need to borrow $7.3 billion to cover state needs for the coming year.
Deepening restrictions on ivory trafficking have led to an increase of the trade in hippopotamus teeth, with potentially serious effects for a species already listed as vulnerable to extinction. This is according to wildlife campaigners and a report released by Born Free. Researchers say this pattern was clear as far back as 1989, when a worldwide ban on trade in ivory was first agreed, and has only intensified as governments have brought in new measures to tighten the ban. Like ivory, hippo teeth and tusk are often used for decorative carvings, but they are cheaper and easier to obtain. In November, 10 countries in West and Central Africa said there had continued to be a sharp decline in numbers of hippopotamus. Some of the East and South African countries are also the source of 3/4 of the estimated 13,909 hippos whose parts and products were traded between 2009 and 2018.